Baby, I'm right here with Aristotle Investment.
Probably see you would think I with you. Hey, what's up? It's your girl, Big Glow, and I'm right here with my boy Aristotle.
Let's get it.
He about to teach me about these dividends and saving money.
It's your boy DC Young Fly, man. I'm here with my boy Aristotle.
Shout out to Aristotle. I took his class.
Man, this dude is the truth, dog. He just put me on game on like investments, dividends, stock market.
I sit around with a bunch of my friends and we talk about stocks all day now.
Man, I'm telling you, man, it's crazy, stupid knowledge, you dig?
I've learned so much. Aristotle has put my trading level on top.
I done learned so much about stock trading, options in particular. It's really changed my whole life and concept about money and investing.
This dude taking people off the corner, man.
I can honestly just say that, like, before Aristotle, dude, I was trading off of impulse. A little bit of stuff I learned off of YouTube. But this package, it's the real deal. It'll get you trading off of real facts. You'll be able to back check, and you'll be able to know what you're doing, not just jump in because you think it's right.
I really should go check out the campaign if you really got something going on. Y'all know me, I'm trying to get my 100 M's any kind of way I can. Yep.
This is Aristotle Investments, and welcome to Stock Sundays, where I go over a recap of last week's top news you may have missed, option trade recaps and strategies I take, important data and earnings to look forward to, a watch list for next week, and if you stay to the end, I do a live Q&A and $200 Cash App giveaway, $50 to 4 people. Tap in. What's going on? What's going on? It's your boy Aristotle. We about to get right into these Stock Sundays. You know what it is. This week we went crazy, man. On the stock market, it was an earnings week. Meta went crazy. We're going to get right into it, man. I'm so excited. I hope y'all excited. All right, let's get into it. So, for one, I'm in Denver, Colorado. So, I'm not at my usual setup, but it's all good. Guess what? The grind does not stop. All right, so let's get it. So, as you know, we're going to go over a recap of last week's news, recap of trades I took, biggest movers and losers, crypto news, data, important news to look forward to, earnings, and a Sunday's watch list. All right, so let's get right into it. So, our news recap. All right, so let's go over the news we may have missed. So, as you guys know, Alphabet has beat earnings, so they were expected to have an earnings per share. So they were expected to have an earnings per share of 1.06, but they beat it by 1.17, and they had a revenue beat of, they had 58 billion, which was expected of 56.8 billion. So they beat that. Google has been going crazy, man. You know how it go. YouTube shares, Google ads, however you want to name it. We all love Google. It's some stats I have on Google. So Google acquired YouTube for $1.6 billion in 2006. In just quarter one of 2023, they made $6.69 billion revenue. All right, so they acquired this for that little money, and now they are killing it in just 1 quarter, 6 times their money in 1 quarter. It's crazy, right? And then Google plans to buy back an additional $70 billion in stock. All right, so you know how that goes. And then Google mentioned the word AI 65 times in their earnings report. So keep that in mind. Google has mentioned the word AI 65 times, all right? So that means they are definitely interested in competing with ChatGPT, Microsoft. All right, as you know, Microsoft acquired OpenAI, like a few months ago, right? And then you got Microsoft earnings. Microsoft earnings per share of 2.45, beating expectations of 2.22, right? Revenue of 52.9 billion, beating expectations of 51 billion. All right. So Microsoft is, of course, going crazy, as we all expected. They have so many ways of making money. They have Azure, their cloud computing. They have their Microsoft Excel, PowerPoint, the subscription based on that. Windows, make a lot of money off that. Xbox, lots of things Microsoft makes money from. And you see they have the Azure cloud revenue growth, 27%. All right. So that's pretty dope. And then that's the crazy thing about Microsoft, though. They have plans to invest $1 billion in generative artificial intelligence tech in the operators over the next 3 years. All right. So they're going to invest a lot of money into AI, $1 billion, probably way more. All right. And then PwC will work with Microsoft and OpenAI to automate aspects of its tax audit and consulting services. So Microsoft just said it expects Azure revenue growth next quarter to be around 26 to 27% year over year in constant currency. All right. So Microsoft Azure is a cloud computing. Cloud computing is very, very popular and is going to pretty much get growth throughout forever, really. You know, as you know, cloud is pretty much having storage separate from, you know, internal storage, just external storage, if that makes sense. So Microsoft specializes now in cloud computing. They have competition like Salesforce, CRM, lots of other cloud computing software companies. And then you have Meta. Meta, my favorite company. I'm up 43 grand on Meta, went crazy on Meta. I'm talking about crazy on Meta. And what did Meta do? Let's look at the stats. So Meta had an earnings per share of 2.2, beating expectations of 2.01. All right, so they did good. Revenue of 28.1 billion, beating expectations of 27.6 billion. So shout out to Meta. As you guys know, big fan of Meta. Like I told people, you have to start looking at the type of CEOs people have. When Meta dropped down to $80, for one, their PE ratio was outstanding at that moment. So that also made me pick them up. And basically, with PE ratios, I'm looking at them to be in a range of like 5 to 25, right? And that's good range. But Meta pretty much compared their share price to their profitability, and it was a no-brainer to pick them up at $80 a share, $85 a share. So Meta, huge fan of them. I am up almost, I think, a little over 100K just in Meta. So Meta just hit 52 weeks highs, and they came back, and they say it's one of the best comebacks a company could ever make. All right, just in a short period of time, the way they fell off and then was able to pretty much come back from that speaks a lot about Mark Zuckerberg and the Meta company, right? So Facebook just reported how his metaverse division did last quarter. They brought in 339 million in revenue, down from 695 million in the same quarter last year. So that is not good. They are down with the metaverse. All right. And they have a net loss. All right. So Facebook daily active users came in at 2.404 billion, above expectations of 2.01 billion. Facebook monthly active users came in at 2.99 billion, missing expectations of 3 billion. But as you know, these guys just came out with the verified check thing. So that in itself should boost their earnings. And they jump pretty, and they have great expectations for the future. Meta, very excited to see what they'll do as a company. And then Amazon falls a little bit, but Amazon is one of those players who are thinking about getting AI. As you know, Jeff Bezos, even though he's not the acting CEO, you know, he still does his thing. And, the same principles lie whenever a CEO pretty much appoints somebody else to be CEO, right? So Amazon has always stood on the principles of pretty much doing what everyone else does and hopping in any space they can, whether it's competing with UPS. Now they will probably compete with Microsoft and Google for those AI shares. And don't forget NVIDIA as well. So Amazon, I'm not surprised that they want to step into this. And, Apple will too. So we all know that Apple will be mentioning AI in their earnings. We know how these companies roll. And a lot of CEOs are cool too. So that's pretty dope that these men, are cool with each other and compete so much in business. All right, Amazon. Amazon CEO says it wants to build the world's best personal assistant and large language model generative AI. All right, so they already saying, hey, this is what we want to do. All right, Amazon Web Service brought in revenue of $21.4 billion, up 16% year over year, above expectations of 14% growth. So shout out to Amazon. Like I said, I expect these guys to hop into AI. We need to all start taking it serious. So that is why in my Discord, we are hosting free AI services, all right? Because it's time to take this thing serious and make sure everyone pays attention and gets all the knowledge so we do not be left behind by this next wave, all right? AI is about to take over, and we need to take advantage. All right, trading recaps. Let's get into the fun part, all right? So I have Microsoft 310 calls, and I made 100% on this. This was literally Friday, and I bought them for $30 a pop, as you can see right here. So why did I get in? Because right here, as you see, Amazon broke previous day's high, not Amazon, but Microsoft. Microsoft broke previous day's highs. So why did I get in Microsoft? Once it broke, this candle right here pretty much determined whether I wanted to enter or not. So I saw that that candle broke with rising volume, right? So once it already broke highs, I needed it to break again with some volume, and I was going to take the pullback, and I literally got in right there, all right? And we literally took profits perfectly at the top. I know it's hard to believe, but we did that. It's crazy, right? So we made money on that. Let me show you guys again. So I made a little over $1,100 on that Microsoft 310 calls. So Tesla 165 calls. All right, I took this lightly, made 35%, went crazy. So Tesla did good. So we got in right here, and people were panicking because it did go down a little bit, but I told them if it does not hold the VWAP, I will get out, and this thing just shot up, went crazy. And we got out like literally right here at the top at this pink. So we got in right here, then got out right here. And then it kept going, but it's cool because, you know, like I said, we almost tried to accept the loss, but I told them, nah, let's give it some time, and let's see if it holds here, and it held. And there we go. As you can see, we made 35% to 40% on that call with Tesla. And then you have SPY. Now, this was one of my bonehead moves. Never go, you know, against the trend. That's what I did. So I was doing so good and feeling so invincible, and I decided to play SPY reversal, and it was having a triangle on the 1 minute, and I'll show you on the 5 minute right here. So that same triangle. So this is how the triangle looked on the 1 minute, but I was thinking it was going to bounce to the upside because I was thinking, you know, we had pretty much been depleted, and, you know, it did a little bounce, but overall, you know, I tried to counter trend, and that's on me. Never again. So next time we see one of those triangles, we're just going to wait for the breakout instead of trying to pretty much predict the breakout. And that's what I did with triangles. If you try to predict triangle breakouts and you're on the wrong side of it, like I was thinking we were going to reverse because it was at this key level right here at the 407.5. So that's on me. All right. So I end up getting, you know, a lot more right after that. So we have SPY 409 calls. Let's go over this one. So why did I get in this? So as you can see, this was yesterday's high, that same high, right? So this was yesterday's high. Well, previous day's high. Once it broke above, now I'm looking for a pullback, and we end up taking this pullback to the 8, took it all the way up here. And this is where we trim, but I told them I'm going to hold runners, and we held, and I got out right here. And that is how I made 4,500 on SPY. I'll also show you guys some more losses in the near future. Oh, here we go, a loss. So here's a loss that I took. So SPY 405 puts. Now, I hated this one because they got me good. So it broke down right here. This candle broke down pre-market lows. This is on the 26th. And I was thinking, so I ended up buying puts right here, and we were up like 10%. And then I knew we were going to pull back. And I even told them that I wanted to add at the 405.8 area right here. So I said adding, and that was this white line right here. So this white line, I said I want to add here. Now I thought it was going to reject, but man, it just kept going. So we end up getting out right here. I got out for a major loss, like 40%. But it, you know, of course I use risk management, but it was just a point. But we end up battling back. So that was my only loss that day, that 40% on SPY that I told them. But we end up being 5 for 6. So I end up getting into 2 more right after that. So we already hit on these. And then I told them, this is what I'm watching. And I said, if these 2 don't work out, we eat noodles. But we were also live trading. All right. So I'm going to show you guys. So pay attention to the 407.5 for SPY and the 156.4 for Tesla. All right. So we're going to buy puts. So I bought puts here. So as you can see, this is the 407.5 area right here. This is where I said I wanted them to reject. Boom. And we hit nicely. So I came back right after that. Everybody was mad about that loss, but that was cool. Came right back. And then boom, instant karma. So I noticed that Tesla was coming down. Oh, I'll go explain that too. Let me go explain that before I do this. So why did I get in this? Because we had a bit of a pre-market high-ish right here, plus the 200 MA. So this level and this level right here, I wanted to reject. Because you know how what I said when you had that little X mark the spot thing right there. So we got 2 levels pretty much coming up at each other. And the fact that just constant green candles, no red candle pullback. So I knew if it came up here, it would be exhausted at that point as well. So that's another reason why I was like, yeah, we can buy puts here. Boom, 407.5, took the puts, we banked. As you can see, I said that, 407.5. So right after that loss, right after this loss right here, I got back. I got our get back, right? And then we got it again. Boom. So I took both of these on live. And the reason why was kind of like SPY, but the opposite. We had depleted the downside. So now we retrace up. And I'm looking for a nice entry after this retrace up, but definitely not the 8. Because that right there needs, after a strong move like this, it needs a strong move upward. And I planned on taking it to the VWAP. So this dotted line right here is my VWAP. So boom, we bought puts here. Now this is the 156. What did I say? It hit perfectly, 156.4. So when I say it hit perfectly, it hit perfectly at this 156.4 level right here. And we took it on live too, and we banked. So there we go. So click the link in the description for $10 off the weekly trial. You guys will get that code. Now I'm only allowing the first 100 people to use this link, so you guys can get in the chat for $25 instead of $35. You save 10 just for watching this video. All right. Also, what does it come with? Live trading every day via Zoom and Discord, exclusive courses. So yes, you will get a beginner's course, so you can literally get ready and prepare for the market. And we have pre-market webinars each day. All right. Exclusive Q&A sessions, tech signals, channel for small accounts. All right. So we have all of that. Now let's hop right into it. Biggest movers and losers. So the biggest movers of the large cap would be Meta because of those earnings beat. Then you got Comcast, Microsoft, as expected, Starbucks, coffee, always. And then you got some notable names here too, Apple, Mo, Pep. So these are some of the biggest movers of the large cap. I always like to go in and see the biggest movers. I'm a large cap trader. I just like to trade the large caps, right? And then we have our biggest losers, Activision, UPS, AbbVie, all these companies right here. So it looks like banks. Of course, Activision will lose. I mean, Activision is Activision. What more do we have to say about them? Call of Duty might not be the most popular game. I'm pretty sure Fortnite has taken market shares from them, and they were acquired by Microsoft, but something ended up happening, right? So, yeah. UPS, of course. So I don't really like to get too much into that. Let's go to the crypto news. So Bitcoin is still trading a little under 30K. Ethereum still under 2,000. And then you have XRP and Tether and BNB. So these would be, I would say 1, 2, 4, and 6 would be my favorites. So Bitcoin, Ethereum, Binance, and XRP will be my favorites. And then, of course, you got to have a little Dogecoin, mainly because Elon Musk. Elon Musk keeps endorsing this, so you be a fool not to at least invest something into them after his endorsement. But just a little something, like something you willing to lose. When I say little something, I mean like 1% of your portfolio type little something. All right. And they're 8 cents right now. So who knows? So let's get into data, important news. Let's get into that. All right. To look forward to. So Fed ahead. So the U.S. Federal Reserve is scheduled to announce its next move on interest rates on Wednesday, with most observers expecting the Fed to lift its key benchmark by 0.25 percentage point to a range of 5%. All right. The Fed also raised by 0.25 point. So the Fed also raised by 0.25 point at its most recent meeting in March, when it's also revised its GDP growth forecast downward. All right. So we're pretty much waiting to see if the Feds are going to raise, keep the interest rates the same, or drop them. We're going to see Wednesday. And this is what we need to look forward to ahead. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, we have pretty much something going on each day, but Wednesday would be probably the most important. And then you have Thursday, you have data coming out, jobs, unemployment claims. Friday, you have jobs, unemployment still too. Oh, that's the weekly unemployment and jobs. Yes. So we got some data to look forward to. Me personally, I like to trade after the data, as I will always stay on Stock Sundays to always trade after the data. Don't try to guess the direction. All right. Stay neutral. Cash is a position during data. So earnings, what do we have? We had some big names. So the watch list is pretty much going to be pointless due to the fact that we have all these earnings coming out next week. I'm excited for, of course, Apple, AMD, Uber, Pfizer. I'm excited for in Shopify, Datadog, QCOM. And those are probably, Block too. I definitely want to see what they're doing, especially after the death of the CEO. We're not going to get too much into that because, they like to get mad if anyone talks about that. Starbucks as well, Ford. So we got some ones. WWE, it's been a lot of hype on them. And like I said, I'm more of a trader, not necessarily a news guy, but I do pay attention to the news because it does help with your further analysis. And when you start understanding businesses, revenue growth, earnings per share, things like that, then it'll make easier investments because, for instance, during the pandemic, we noticed that everybody was making money, right? But, people can't really sustain that high of profits. Like Shopify, they had a great increase during the pandemic. Roku, companies like that, Zoom, Peloton, workout, home type companies, they did their thing. Social media companies did their thing, and that's why we're having a correctional period right now, is because, we're going through that time where it's time to correct what they can't pretty much accomplish again. So you got to think, if your business made a killing in 2020 and that was the peak, and that we can't pretty much beat that peak, then that's when companies in the stock market fall, when the market did so well at one point and it has to correct itself from that point. So let's get into the watch list. Let's get into what y'all came here to see. All right. So you already know what it is. Your boy Aristotle. So y'all came here to see this watch list, right? Now, like I said, It's earnings week, so take it lightly. Day trade, I would always recommend day trading. All right, I would always recommend that. So let me get you guys squared away with these earnings and this watch list, and we could chart a little bit. Something you guys came here to see. All right. So you guys gonna learn today. So SPY, let's go to the daily chart. I got all these arrows and things trying to show you guys my entry points. So let's take our indicators off. And we can even start over. Remove drawings. Cool. So we start over from here on SPY. What do we see? We see this thing coming back up to this level right here. So we do a horizontal line straight across. All right, we'll make that white, and we'll make that a little thick because it's a very important area. So this 417 area is very important with SPY. As you can see, this thing was once support at one point in time, went up to the all-time highs, and then it came down to here, and then this thing became support again, dropped here again. So this line right here, we're back at a majorly key level. So it would be irresponsible of me to say, hey, this thing is going to go up or down due to the fact that we have so many big earnings coming up. So Apple will definitely determine, a lot about the market. So with them having earnings later on in the week, but I will be watching certain key levels like above here. If we can get above here, then it could be good. But like I said, look how close we are. What is the highs? The highs are 415.9. So we have $1 kind of range right here that I wouldn't try to bet too much on. We could reject there. It's been so volatile lately that, hey, this thing probably could fall from there. So let me keep going. So let's look at QQQ. Now, QQQ, nice uptrend. It has held this green line after breaking resistance here. And now that turned into support. It has held and it's trying to break out again. Has officially filled this gap right here. Had a little gap right here that never got filled. So that's crazy that gaps really do always kind of get filled, right? QQQ broke highs, so looks more bullish than SPY. But could this be a false breakout? Could tomorrow be, a bad day, as you can say, a red day? Tesla. Now, Tesla is something that I am watching personally for a rejection. Now, let me tell you why. Let's bring up the 8 EMA. So for one, it's right at the 8. For two, if you can look right here, you can see what? You can see the rejection period too. So we have broken support and with some rising volume here, and it's retesting. So Tesla is at a very key level right here that I wouldn't bet bullish on just yet. This thing could reject right there. So yeah, I'm watching Tesla for actual puts. Actually, it looks like a bearish setup. So SPY is at resistance. Tesla is coming back to retest. Now it does have this gap here, so I'll be watching that. But based on technicals, I'm personally thinking Tesla for a short here based on technicals, because it does have this gap below that it wanted to fill. So it's another thing. Yes, it has a gap above, but it also has a gap below here. See that? That it almost tried to fill, snapped up, came back. So Tesla could be something to watch there. Amazon rejecting this 200 MA again. Like I keep telling y'all, this thing on the daily chart, of course, We take this AEMA off. So that's what I'm afraid of. This 200 MA has been wreaking havoc on Amazon for the past year. So since March of 2022, reject this same 200 MA, this orange line, reject, and false broke out again, act like it was going to do it again, back below the 200 MA. So we seeing rejections on a lot of key stocks. So technically, we look like we want to reject, but earnings could be so good that we keep going. Who knows? It's been very, very unpredictable lately, though. And then Apple looks bullish. So we got some that look bearish, and Apple is almost near highs, all-time highs. And they are about to experience earnings. So let's see if there's a resistance point on Apple right here or something. Slick, as you can see, slick a little resistance point there that Apple could be at. So, you know, who knows? Could we reject there? It looked good at first, but then if you draw that line all the way across, looks like we could reject here too. So everything is looking like it's at key levels of resistance, which doesn't look good on the bullish side. Could this be the start of a drop? And, you know, we've been having lots of recession fears, but if Apple drops pretty bad from here, it could definitely tank the market. So we're going to see. Meta, you know, Meta has gap galore everywhere. I mean, you know, Meta is on about 3 islands, has a gap above, gap below, another earnings gap right here. So gap, and then has this huge gap still here from when the metaverse and everything failed pretty much. So yeah, it's on the island. So Meta will be a day trading stock again, something you don't really want to swing trade. And then Microsoft, I mean, is it time for a pullback as well? This thing is so overextended. I'm sitting here deleting all this stuff. So Microsoft is looking good as far as where it's going, back to the 300s. Has a gap below, so could it come back to retest this red line, come back down? Who knows? So Microsoft could be another pullback. Let's see what level it's at. Kind of near a key level it used to reject from. So we go right here. Boom. See that? It rejected from here before, rejected from here before. So it honestly could reject again based on technicals. So let's go look at some more stocks. I like to go down the list of the top ones. NVIDIA, another one at a key level of resistance here, this red line. So NVIDIA, another one. And look at it. Doesn't look like it wants to break resistance. So could this be the topping point? Based on technicals, this don't look too good for longs, at least. Looks like it's going to take a lot to break resistances. Just being honest. AMD, we still need to see what's going on with them as well. Alphabet, another one at a key level of resistance here, topping out. So we got another one. We could honestly do this thing all the way across to see. So let's see. Boom. Another one topping out at this key level right here. So Google also looks like it's topping out. Who is this? Block? Like I said, so much bad news, so much competition on SQ that it's not even funny. It's back at this key level again, trying to hold this. So yeah, am I a big fan of SQ? Not really. They got the Fed Now app 2 coming out, so yeah, I'm not too much of a fan of them long term based on fundamentals, technicals, and just everything going on with this company. Yeah, I see these guys not going to be doing too good in the future. Let's go to one of my favorites though. PayPal, also in the same boat as SQ. Not very bullish as I once was on PayPal. But Shopify also, I'm not the most bullish on due to so much competition. They don't really have an economic moat, but they're a risky pick. They're cheap. They're worth the risk in my opinion. If you're trying to have something, you got a little money to, spare, it's gonna be a good risky one. Disney, trying to get back above this 200 in May. I tell people all the time, I remember Disney was one of the only companies to survive the trade war thing. So we're going to see how recession-proof Disney is again. Disney has a plethora of ways to make money, whether it's ESPN, whether it's ABC, Marvel, Disney itself, cruises, theme parks. It's crazy what Disney is able to do. All right. So this is pretty much the end of my watch list. Like I said, I will be day trading, and based on technicals, it's mixed. We break these resistances, have good data, plus good earnings. A lot of things are going to have to go right in order for us to go up. Based on technicals, though, we shall see. It's your boy Aristotle. Hope you guys enjoy these Stock Sundays. Make sure you guys tune in to the mentorship. All right. So you guys sign up for this, and you guys will be able to learn everything. You have 7 days left to sign up. All right. So it's a 6-week mentorship program, 4 weeks live Zoom training. So you will have 14 Q&A sessions, because it'll be a Q&A after each, lesson. And then 2 weeks live Q&As, access to live session recordings, watch Expert Trade Live for 4 weeks for free. That comes with the package. It's only $70.70 if you want a mentorship. It's your boy Aristotle. You guys have a great weekend. God bless.